Wilmer was glad both Germain and Riordan had experience with horses. While he would have been happy to go slow and teach both of them the basics of riding, this was much more relaxed. He watched as Riordan adjusted the length of the stirrups, then hoisted himself up with ease. He looked comfortable on Sweetie, who was aptly named. She was the sweetest pony Wilmer had ever encountered. She was Sando's, but Sando didn't mind anyone else riding her, especially since he couldn't ride for a while due to giving birth. She needed the exercise, and she was the perfect size for Riordan. Wilmer handed a riding helmet to Riordan, who put it on without protest, pulling the straps tightly. Many people were complacent about wearing helmets when horseback riding, but after seeing a friend in a horrible accident and only walking away from it because he'd been wearing one, Wilmer had made it a hard and fast rule to always wear one. He refused to go riding with anyone who didn't. Sure, they might be a bit awkward, but safety trumped discomfort at all times. Germain was a little less elegant in mounting his horse, but he managed. Once he was comfortable in the saddle, he looked good and confident, even with his helmet a tad crooked on his head. He patted Jackie's neck, talking to her in a low, soothing voice. Once he was certain both Riordan and Germain were good, Wilmer fastened his helmet and mounted Pride. Pride was a beautiful chestnut quarter horse, 6 years old, and his loyal companion since the day he had been born a premature foal. One thing Wilmer loved about his job and being in the pack was that he was able to keep Pride close and ride him almost daily. "Let's go," he said over his shoulder, then took the lead, guiding them toward the trail he'd picked. He was careful to stay on the path. The vegetation was still recovering from winter, and he didn't want to crush the young leaves and sprouts by having the horses step on them. They went at a leisurely pace, and he checked every few minutes if Germain and Riordan were following. Riordan was right behind him, with Germain bringing up the rear. Both men were smiling from ear to ear. "Are you guys okay to try a trot?" he called out. "Yes, please," Riordan said, and Germain joined him a second later. Wilmer clicked his tongue and pressed his calves against Pride's side, and the horse broke out in a steady trot. He closed his eyes for a moment, raising his face toward the sun. It wasn't warm yet, but the temperatures would soon be going up, and he couldn't wait. Some people were bothered by the long, hot summer months, but he loved every second of them. Despite his blonde hair, he rarely got a sunburn, though that might also be because he used sunscreen religiously. When the trail widened into a meadow, he slowed down until the three of them were riding side by side. "You guys doing okay?" he asked. "Yes. Gods, I hadn't realized how much I had missed this," Germain said. Wilmer had a hard time looking away from him. He'd never seen him this happy and radiant, and it did funny things to Wilmer's belly. "You missed out on a lot, with being isolated for so many years," Riordan said. "I would go insane, let me tell you." Germain's smile faded. "In the beginning it wasn't too bad because we assumed it would be temporary. Our father hadn't indicated how long this period of seclusion would be, and we all reckoned he meant weeks, months at the most. But then a year passed, and another one, and 2 years became 10, then 50, and there was no end in sight. All we knew was this endless monotony of being cooped up in the castle with the same people, having the same conversations, doing the same things every single day." He blinked, then cleared his throat. "Sorry, I didn't mean to unload on you." "That's okay." Riordan waved his hand. "I can imagine it's something you need to talk about." "Maybe, but not with you. I mean, not that I don't want to tell you or fear your reaction, but I don't want to burden you with my stuff. You've got enough on your plate already." Wilmer repressed a smile at that clumsy chatter. Germain was trying so hard, and Wilmer's heart went out to him. "Oh, you're not burdening me. If it gets too much, I'll tell you, I promise. But until then, please, talk about it. Or anything else. I enjoy hearing your stories. From both of you." Well, Germain wasn't the only one rambling. These two were so adorably sweet and careful with each other, and it became easier and easier to picture them together. But why did that image feel so wrong, then?